Hello and welcome back to Into the Chatterverse, where two gents share their 2 cents on pop media. I am Victor Danders, the hardest working man in comics, and joining me, as always...
And I'm Bill, and I'm going to stump Victor.
Yeah, because this one, I'm ill-prepared. What we're going to talk about is fan casting, but we're going to be very specific. One guy, this one treasured actor who everyone in the geek sphere just wants so bad to be in the MCU. And the question is, how? His name, Henry Cavill. Formerly Superman, formerly Man of Steel, in the DCEU. Unfortunately dropped. Fortunately dropped? We will see. Yeah, we've moved on from it.
Yeah, it's time to move on.
Yeah, and his possible entrance into the MCU has been rumored for a while. He's supposed to have met with people. There have been a number of speculations. I've seen everything from Captain Britain to Doctor Doom to Cyclops to Wolverine. We're going to get into who he should actually be. Now, Bill is right. Like, he outright said, like, perfect casting, and I threw out a couple of things, and he's like, no. So I'm stumped. I have no idea where he's going with this.
Perfect casting for him. I don't think it's Wolverine.
Okay.
I think that's too much. He reminds me too much of Hugh Jackman at that point.
I can see that. And it's a little too pop. Like, I feel kind of weird of him going from a super iconic popular character to a equally iconic popular character.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Yeah.
And then now I'm thinking him as Mr. Fantastic. I think that'd be hilarious because that's not. I mean, he's a nerd, but he's not.
Totally work.
No,
that would totally work for me.
It would work.
He's too big.
But yeah, you want ripped?
No, not ripped. No, that's too much.
But like, and my feeling on Wolverine is that maybe we should wait. If not, I don't think we ever need Wolverine. Because I think the X-Men are a fairly popular thing without him.
Okay.
They were popular, granted it was X-Men 93 and all that, but it wasn't necessarily Wolverine that, made that as popular as it was.
That's a really interesting point. Because they did really make Wolverine the face of the X-Men in the 90s. And I feel like if we can use wrestling parlance, like that was a push from Marvel / Fox to do that.
I think the thing that made Wolverine so popular was that people didn't know who he was. Like Boba Fett.
Right.
And then they explained it, and
then you're like, I don't care.
No.
All right.
So, and like Sentry, it makes sense. And what the other one? I can't remember the other one you said.
I threw out Wolverine and Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
And you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing him as Doctor Doom, but also you're gonna cast Henry Cavill and you're gonna put him behind.
Cover him up.
Yeah, cover up his face.
I mean, it kind of works for Robert Downey and Iron Man, right? Like they found a way to get beyond the suit, so to speak. So maybe we would have some heads-up display.
I'm sorry. How often do you see Robert Downey without seeing his face?
I mean, we see it a couple of times.
And is it disfigured?
No.
Are we so, it's not like Doctor Doom takes off his helmet and goes and he'll look a lot like Deadpool.
Possibly. Well, that's one iteration. They could go for the super psychological one where his wound isn't even that bad and he just feels, I don't know, flawed. It'd
still be a wound.
It would. Just one.
Anyway.
So
the funny thing is that you couldn't figure it out.
I couldn't.
But I don't understand why you couldn't figure it out. Perfect casting for Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
How can you not figure that out?
Well, because my perfect casting for him is Doctor Doom. Because I think he's such a pretty face and it would be perfect to cover him up. Like I think that plays into why he would be great as Doom. So where are you going with that?
Where he doesn't have to change his voice.
So you're saying Captain Britain?
Yeah. I was like, you said it right off the bat.
See, because I think
that is perfect.
It's
too on the nose.
It's too on the nose.
But that's perfect casting. That's perfect casting.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Why is on the nose a bad thing?
Well, I only say on the nose as a bad thing because while, Britain to Britain, absolutely, but it's a character that you have to explain. It's such a vast, weird series of connections.
Okay.
I'm not interested in Captain Britain. That's honestly it. I'm not interested in Captain Britain.
Would you be interested in Captain Britain if it was Henry Cavill? The fact that you have to think about it. You're trying to come up with reasons not to.
No, because I'll be honest. I'm not interested in Captain Britain. I would be interested in Henry Cavill as Marvel Man.
Okay, but that's something completely different.
It is, but isn't in the current Marvel comic landscape because he's theirs now. I don't know.
Well, okay, has Marvel Man showed up? Has Miracle Man showed up in Marvel?
Yes.
More than a one shot?
I can't say that.
Yeah, so.
I can't say that. I mean, but okay, so we do the Britain or Captain Britain, right? Where do you tie him in? Do you go X-Men related or do you go magic related?
You can go anywhere you want.
I mean, you could. That is.
It's new to the universe.
That's true, and it's a different take on magic.
Yeah.
So you have that.
I have a problem either way with it.
Okay. All right.
But why not make it a mutant?
It would be interesting.
It would also be a reason why he hasn't shown up yet.
True. You figure Siege Perilous, all that goodness, you gotta... Not that you have to explain it, but it gives you an explanation for where it hasn't been. I do think that it would be an interesting move if they do something with Black Knight. They bring back Dane, bring in Captain Britain. That would be a very interesting move, and I would be excited to see how that plays. I definitely would. Man, yeah, no. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I can't really figure out a reason why it shouldn't work.
Well, I've heard other people go, it's on the nose.
But that's not necessarily bad.
Why?
I mean,
why
like Robert Downey was, when you said Robert Downey is Iron Man, you're like, yeah, okay,
yeah,
okay.
especially if they went towards the alcoholism.
Yeah, Demon in a Bottle. You go,
yeah,
that's not even acting. Like we're just running through his history,
and that's right on the nose.
It
also,
is true. True. Okay.
And I read something really interesting that John Favreau changed the dialogue on Iron Man after watching Gwyneth Paltrow and Robert Downey Jr. go through their lines.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it to be more what?
Natural.
Oh. Okay.
So he picked up on the way they were, because he said a line, and she actually said, no, it's actually this. And the line was, he said the line as it was written. It just wasn't correct, and she corrected it.
Got you.
And then he ended up putting it in the movie, and he just like, I watched them interact, and I'm like,
that's good.
This is where you got it right.
Yeah,
where you got it wrong was when you did Iron Man 2.
Cold, bro.
Where you got it right was The Mandalorian.
Yeah. And then you kept...
And then you did everything else.
No, that's a good one.
And as far as Henry Cavill goes, you could put it in anywhere. And it doesn't have to be a big guy.
I mean, true.
And it can't be Nightcrawler. I don't think it would be good. Good Nightcrawler. Though I'd be interested to hear his German accent if they went that way.
I don't know if I want that one. I don't know that I wouldn't want, while, again, not to go like popular character to popular character, but I don't know that I wouldn't want a little thumbing of the nose at Warner Brothers by having him be like Sentry or Hyperion. Now, I know that Sentry is already supposed to be cast. We already did a conversation about that. So, as Hyperion, I think that would be funny.
Though that's more of a villain anyway, isn't it?
He can be.
Yeah.
Like, they switch around with the Squadron Supreme all the time. But that, I think, would be funny, is to make him Superman, but bad in the Marvel Universe. And if they did that, that would be hilarious to me. Where would I see him fitting in? That gets a little bit more multiversal, cosmic, whatever. But I think it would be interesting at the very least, if they did something like that. I don't know, Thor 5. not that I'm looking forward.
All
to
right, well, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's cast him as a villain.
Okay. Henry Cavill is a villain. I mean,
so your number one is Doctor Doom.
yes, that is my number one.
Come up with two more.
I'll
tell you my number one.
What's your number one?
Galactus.
I was so about to say that. I was so about to say that. Like that was going to be my number two, because I think that would also work.
Yeah.
Really, really well.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't want to do anymore. Like those would be my top two, either Doom or Galactus. And if he's Galactus, that actually I want that more than Doom. Yeah. I want Cavill as Galactus. I think that would be very, very interesting, because what we need for the real threat is the physicality that I think he would bring as Galactus. Yes, scale-wise, it's super stupid crazy, but I need to see that acted as opposed to just a CGI something or other. Like, it's got to be a person, and I think Cavill would kill with that.
Oh, that ruins my question.
Oh, what? Why? What was your question?
Well, would you want to see Henry Cavill in cloud form?
No cloud, no cloud Cavils, no cloud Cavils. That would be the worst. None of that. No. I think that was one of the worst things that they did in that era of Fantastic Four movies, or of non-MCU movies.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But well, I mean, even the Corman Fantastic Four was $30 million budget. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's $3 million, and apparently $2.5 million went right into Corman's pocket.
Yes.
After watching that, I was just like, this is just,
it's bad.
Yeah. I'm like, how do you go from a $30 million budget to a $3 million? They must have read the script and said,
you don't need
pass.
This. You don't need none of this. No. I mean, I think the comparison of movie making, we're at a time where you make the movie as bad as possible, as quick as possible, just so you can retain the rights. I think that is something that I don't know that we see that anymore. Like, I don't know that the rights are spread out from people anymore.
You don't think the Sony universe, the Sony MC universe is doing that?
No, not at all. Madam Web is a great movie. It's a great movie. No,
it's right up there with Morbius. Except it's watchable as opposed to what Morbius is. I was going to say,
I think they actually thought those were going to be really good movies in some way, shape, or form.
Well, I think they're good ideas.
Yes. But, like, the thing with the Fantastic Four, that one was never supposed to come out. Like, that's, I think, is the most amazing thing possible, is that they made this film with the intent that it wasn't supposed to come out. And, like, I mean, we saw with what was it, the Batgirl movie? They made this film, and it wasn't with the intent that it wasn't going to come out, but they decided not to put it out. And then with the Madam Web and Morbius, maybe they should have decided not to put them out. But
well, it also depends on how much money you throw into it.
Exactly.
Because it would just have been easier to go, the Flash movie is not coming out.
Right.
But they spent so much money on it.
But they were like, nah, we gotta recoup something.
Yeah. So, they did have to recoup something.
Yeah. But, like, the idea of specifically making a movie to retain rights but not to release it, I don't know that, are we in that era of movie making or franchise stuff anymore? No. I didn't think so.
No. Because there's too much, like, you know, with Warner Brothers, they're not, you know, they're not going to release it because they don't want to hurt the brand.
Right.
If Sony doesn't care about the brand,
it's not
they care about making money.
It's true.
And, you know, I like that as a motivator, I guess, but you can't let it also get in the way.
True.
There's too much of, and you can't, don't ever throw studio interference at me, because
what? That's not a good excuse.
It's not a good excuse for anything, because
studio interference.
Yeah, and then just go, okay, I have 33 films with studio interference, and they've made almost $30 billion. And Kevin Feige is the studio.
He is the studio.
So you can say it. It's just not going to fly with me.
No.
Now, the one movie that I'm pretty sure was ruined by the studio would be the last Fantastic Four movie, which was a fine movie until they got their powers.
Yes.
and they get the powers, and it's just like, this is where it's supposed to get good, and it just got
terrible.
What happened?
Absolutely terrible.
Because I just remember watching that movie. I'm like, what? There's nothing wrong with this. This is actually kind of a fun movie as it is.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Throwing out all the people that are upset that Johnny Storm is black.
Right. I wasn't mad about that. I was more mad that at the time, I think Michael B. Jordan played better straight-laced characters, and Miles Teller played more wild characters. Because Miles was in, what is that movie called? It was like a house party movie of some sort, and he was buck wild and crazy, and it was wonderful.
Like 21 and over?
I think, yeah, something like that. Yeah. And I was like, okay, he's Johnny. Like, his portrayal as Johnny would be right on point, and Michael B. was super, coming off of Chronicle, where he was class president, and it was Reed-like, super Reed-like. That was the only thing that I had an issue with. Was I thought they were miscast. I thought they should be swapped. Not saying that Miles wasn't great as Reed when I saw it.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting take.
Yeah,
I wouldn't disagree with that at all. I like Miles Teller, and I think Michael B. Jordan he's incredible.
Yeah,
I've never watched any of the Creed movies, but also I'm so tired of the Rocky thing.
I was gonna say if you're a heavy Rocky fan, it doesn't exactly work continuity wise, but they're fun. They're definitely
there's
fun.
Continuity in the Rocky franchise.
Hinted at maybe.
Does it matter?
No, because I mean
it doesn't matter.
You're watching it to see people fight. Like that's truly it. But no, you're absolutely right. Like that Fantastic Four movie had so much heart in it until they got their powers, and then it was just like, I don't know what to do now. Like now it needs to be a superhero.
And I didn't like the Doctor Doom.
The Doom wasn't great. The Doom wasn't great at all.
I didn't have a problem with the guy playing Doom.
Yeah, Toby was fine.
It was just why?
Right. The entire setup was a lot of fun. It just didn't land.
No.
That's a movie that's killed by the third act, right? Like out of any, can you think of any other movies that absolutely die in the third act? Like they're good, decent, we'll say, up until the third act, and you go, what happened?
I'm not that guy.
Okay.
I'm not a third act guy. I'm sorry.
All right.
Too many people lean on that. Well, you lost me in the third act. Like, where did the third act start?
I mean, that's fair.
Because also I would say that when they got their powers, it was halfway through. And if the third act is half the movie...
then it's not the third act.
It's not the third act, is it?
That's true. All right. I haven't watched that in a while. I might have to go back.
It's been a while for me to... I think I made it Pandemic.
Okay.
I can't remember. I think I did stop watching. They got their powers, and I watched a little bit of it at the end. And now I remember why I don't like this movie. I think I was more mad at it than anything.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
Like, I didn't love the other ones. I liked how Chris Evans portrayed Johnny.
His Johnny was great.
Because that's exactly how Johnny would have been.
Yes.
Michael Chiklis was pretty good as Ben Grimm. Even with
good.
the suit, I was fine with that too. Yeah. I just never bought...
Anybody else?
I didn't buy the relationship between Sue and Richard.
No.
Richard.
No.
Reed.
Yeah. No, he's a Richard.
Richard.
But no. I agree with that. I mean, honestly, the best part of the Tim Story Fantastic Fours was the trailer for the second movie. That was, like, if that just was the only thing that came out, it would have been perfect. Do you remember that one?
The trailer?
Yeah.
No.
Where the surfer comes in and they're at the wedding and, Reed is like, Johnny, and he's like, I'm on it. And he jumps off and he's like, flame on. And he's chasing the surfer. And it's this, like, cat and mouse sort of thing where, like, surfer is, like, looking and he sees Johnny coming. And then finally he goes through a building and ends up catching Johnny by the throat and, like, flying him up in space. And Johnny, flame goes out and he passes out. It was the coolest thing ever for a movie that just did not match up to it. Like, that's That's the biggest crime of that trailer.
Well, that was the point of the trailer, though, was to get you to go to the movie.
Got you in. Without question, it got me.
It's kind of like, that's how I feel about posters. Like, the poster's supposed to get you, like, they're re-releasing episode 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
In May.
For the 25th anniversary?
It's...
Yeah. 25? Yeah. It came out in 99? Yeah.
Did it?
I think so.
Did
yes.
It?
Yeah. 99.
Did it?
Yes.
Did it? Anyway, the poster looks great.
Does it? Okay.
You know? Yeah. You look at the poster, you're like,
I want to see that.
I kind of want to see this. And then I remember, no, I don't. No. Because they run really fast at the beginning, but at the end, nope, can't do that.
No. With no explanation. None.
There's your perfect casting.
Wow.
Henry Cavill as Obi-Wan Kenobi. A ripped Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I'm old. Bitch.
Actually, I would make him Vader before I made him Obi-Wan.
Ooh.
I would like to see a Henry Cavill as
Vader.
Anakin Skywalker.
Ooh. That's tasty. Okay.
I realize I just jumped franchises.
No,
in
whatever. That's a good one, though. That's a good one. I think his jaw just reeks of potential Order 66 evil. Like,
well, also he can emote that way well.
He can.
And, when someone says you can't do that,
and you're like, maybe I shouldn't tell him he can't do that. Ooh, that would be interesting. Okay, internets, this is your job. I need a deep fake of Henry Cavill's face over Hayden's as
but I'm still hoping that Henry Cavill ends up being James Bond
over Aaron.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because apparently that's not true.
Oh, it's not?
Yeah.
Oh.
They came out right away and said that's not true.
All right.
But that also could be a lie.
That very well could.
Because, producers lie.
Andrew Garfield. I'm not.
Well, Andrew Garfield's not a producer, but Andrew Garfield lied.
He lied.
Also, I'm sure he signed a huge NDA.
Absolutely. Where he was.
And I don't have a problem with an actor saying, "Oh, not in this,"
even though they are.
Right.
Because they got to protect it. They got to do. What do you think about in that line of things? Idris Elba is M.
I didn't think you were going to go there, but Idris Elba is anything. I don't really care. Okay. I'm good with it. I thought you were going to go Scarlett Johansson in Jurassic World.
Is that a thing?
Clearly, you don't keep up on this stuff.
No, I thought we were done with the Jurassics. I thought.
Do you understand how much the last one made over $1 billion?
Oh crap!
You can't stop that.
Yeah, no, you can't. I didn't think it.
And
did
it was
that
awful.
Well. I don't know why. I didn't think it did that well.
No,
so.
You didn't want it to do that well. There's a difference. It was not. It was. And what I love about these movies, these Jurassic World movies, is that they are remakes of the originals.
Literally.
The first one is Jurassic Park.
Without
the
question.
Second one is A Lost World. The third one is Jurassic Park 3. And the fact that no one goes, I've seen this before.
Wait a minute. This is the same thing.
I mean, it's not beat by beat a remake,
but it's close.
But it's everything that's in there.
It's in there. It's in there. Yeah.
There you go. Henry Cavill is a T-Rex.
I'd watch it. I would. Yeah, I would.
Except his arms are too long. Well, actually, if they kept his arms the normal size,
then it would be fun.
And his body huge.
He'd be perfect. So wait. Go back to this. Scarlett Johansson is in a fourth Jurassic World.
Yeah. She's in contract negotiations.
Who else is in this?
That's the only.
She's only
name
okay
right now.
Chris Pratt tapped out. He's like, I'm good.
Well, those guys they're too expensive at this point.
Oh, that hurts that Scarlett's not in that group no more.
No. It's not that she's not expensive.
But maybe she can lead the franchise now.
That's the point.
Gotcha.
Like it's let's say Scarlett Johansson's going to make $20 million.
Right.
You're not paying $20 million to Chris Pratt.
No.
You have to pay more.
Yeah.
It's just like Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU.
Yeah.
You can't get away with paying him $20 million.
No.
He started it.
Right.
Or he was at the start of it. It depends on how you
I like
look
that.
at
I like that statement. He was at the start. So, yeah.
But he was an integral part of it. I mean, let's be honest. If Iron Man is not as successful as it is,
nothing else.
How much further do they go?
Okay, in a weird multiversal place, Iron Man doesn't hit, but Incredible Hulk does. Does this change?
That's a different, that does change things.
Mm-hmm. But
we don't get Iron Man 2.
We don't get Iron Man 2. We do not get Iron Man 2.
But do we get Ed Norton?
I think maybe.
But that's the thing,
right? That would be an interesting one.
And Ed Norton, I don't think he and Feige got along, because I think Feige had his own ideas,
right?
And Ed Norton was like, "No, I have mine." And who's going to win that battle?
At the time, Norton. At the time,
well, yeah, if it's a huge success,
right?
But it's not,
right?
So
luckily, yeah. I think that's one of those interesting things that we don't talk about enough is the actual direction setting of a franchise like that, like the MCU as a whole collective. When there are different people that have individual insights to things, Edward Norton had a plan. You know, he wanted it to be so much more like the TV show, and that was cool up until a point.
Yeah.
But then Feige's like, no, we got something bigger that we're trying to do. No. I think I can do this. And you're like, no, we have something bigger that we're trying to do. And Kevin was right. Like, I always wonder if Edward Norton is mad at himself for cutting himself out of this.
I doubt it.
You don't think?
I don't think he'd ever admit to it.
That's true. But there's got to be something on the inside where he's like,
there are actually some people that want to do it for the craft.
Okay.
And I feel that he is one of those people.
Okay.
Not solely. I mean,
Right.
yeah, he wants money, but also he wants to feel creative.
Right.
And you hear that a lot about a lot of these guys that are in franchises that, they do these big things so they can do the smaller things.
It's Matt Damon said that. Do the big picture, then you do the other picture. Then you do the picture because your friend says you owe him.
Now, if you cast Henry Cavill do you cast him as the Hulk or do you cast him as Bruce Banner?
That's awful. I would cast him as the Hulk and then David Cornsweet as Bruce Banner.
Oh, Jesus. You got to go smaller than that, though.
We'll use the same body double that did Chris when he was skinny Steve.
How about Matt Damon? Matt
really
Damon as Bruce Banner and Henry Cavill is
Cavill that much taller?
I think Matt Damon's only like 5'10".
Okay, all right.
And I think Cavill's like 6'3" or something like that.
Tall. He's tall. Okay, all right. That's fun. Henry Cavill in the MCU.
All right. So as far as Henry Cavill goes,
yeah.
if he's a hero, he's Captain Britain. If he's a villain, it's Galactus. I want
Galactus. So you don't give any credence to Cyclops as a potential? He's good for I-beams.
So my original thought on Scott Summers was that his nickname was Slim.
Well, that is true.
Which, by the way, I am suffering through the X-Men animated series. I'm on the last season. I powered through it.
Oh. So you haven't started 97 yet.
No. I'm doing the right thing.
You know what? I'm gonna admit something right now. That I had to come to terms with for myself. I never finished the series. I disliked the animation and how it fell off so hard after Dark Phoenix Saga that I never finished.
So the funny thing is, I think that the animation has actually gotten better.
Really?
Yes. And there are times when I hate the inking.
Okay.
And I say inking because in the comic book form, that's what it would be.
Yeah.
But I feel like the more minimalistic that it was, that the animation actually got better.
I'm sure fluidity-wise, it did. There was a For me, it was coloring. Coloring started to really irk me a bunch,
And that's fair.
and that like the transition of some of the coloring choices, I just could not stand in last season because I started going back and looking at them myself and was like, "There's a reason why I didn't watch this." Like, because I like the Phalanx Covenant as a comic book like arc, and I didn't realize that they had done it. That's how much like I had stepped
Yeah, I
away
just
from it. I was
watched
like, "Oh my gosh, they did the Phalanx Covenant." Yeah. So,
I've never read that. I didn't realize it was a thing.
Yes.
But I knew Warlock was a thing.
Oh yeah, some good New Mutants action.
So yeah, and the thing I hate the most about it was
Yeah.
the thing I hated about it outside of the really bad animation,
Which is
the watered down stories.
oh
And it's okay. It's a Saturday morning cartoon, but
Right.
it was on Fox.
what do you mean by that? Like to be specific.
Since when was Fox at that time afraid of taking risks?
Well, as I understand the history of it, Margaret Lesh, I think it's her name. She was the kickoff for Fox Kids, right? So it was like almost as a standalone entity, and the things that she pushed for were risque at the time, but not what we would say risque now. So like
They were watered down versions of the stories.
yes, but I think like what the stories were wouldn't have been allowed to be on TV at the time.
I
Not
will
for
say
kids.
this though,
Yeah.
in terms of telling the story, even though it was watered down,
Mm-hmm.
they've done the best Phoenix.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Because they at least, and I hate that the Phoenix wasn't an entity at the time.
right.
The Phoenix was Jean Grey.
It was G.
And the fact that they brought it in as an entity drove me nuts, but at least they explained the story.
True.
And they let it flesh out. And then they brought in the Dark Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
as much as I couldn't stand that either. But at least they did it as opposed to doing it all in one movie.
Because what did it spread out over to do Phoenix to Dark Phoenix was like 9 episodes total.
Something like that.
Yeah. So they let it breathe. Like that's
Right.
Smart.
And the other good thing is that it's only 19 minutes worth of content.
That is true. I think you will like the animation in the new series.
No, from what I watched the trailer yesterday,
Okay.
and I'm like, this is a different animation.
Yes.
I'll tell you what I'm not gonna like:
What?
the voices.
No. There's some carryover. There's some new ones.
There's 30 years.
You can hear it.
Yeah,
Hear some of it.
yeah,
That's
like
true. That's true.
Wolverine. I heard his voice. I'm like, is that even the same guy?
It is the same guy.
And I had to look it up. I'm like, it's the same guy.
It is
And
the
I've
same
heard that Rogue is not good.
She is older, without question. Yes, her voice is older. It is true. Of the originals, Beast comes back, Wolverine comes back, Rogue comes back. I'm not sure if the same guy is Gambit. I don't think it is, but
Jubilee.
she's not the same actress.
Oh,
The original
forget
Jubilee
it.
actress is someone else on the show because she thought that it would be better to have a Asian American actress have an opportunity. So different. She's a different character, but
Okay,
yeah.
that's fair.
yeah. So yeah, the voices will probably grate a little bit, but I think you'll get into it though. I think by the second episode, you will be locked in.
Oh, I'm not watching it until it's out. The first season. is
What?
out.
That's like not until May.
What's your point?
Fair game. You've waited 37 years to watch it at all.
I'm not married to this at all.
Right.
I'm just doing this.
I'm impressed that you did it. Truthfully.
It has not been easy. There are some episodes where I just walked away and left the TV on.
He's like, that counts. I watched it.
I'm like, I watched some of this, and I know what's going to happen.
Right. But some of it is not. It's not good. It's not good. So, all right. Oh, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this first season. Then that's gonna be good. New episode comes out tomorrow, so I can't wait. Super excited. One of these times we're gonna have to talk about Invincible. I don't know if you've watched
I haven't watched the second season yet.
It's we're I think 2 left in the second season, so definitely want to get your thoughts on that. So we'll definitely check it out.
I really enjoyed the first season. In fact, I probably will go back and rewatch the first season.
Stellar.
And then pick it apart.
Okay.
I probably won't pick it apart. The animation was. It's not awful.
Mm-hmm.
It's
very stylized.
Simple, I'll say. How's that?
That works.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't grate on my nerves like the original X-Men does, or Super Friends, that always grated on my nerves.
I get that.
Especially when Firestorm came in and his hair never changed, and I'm like, that's a flame.
That's a flame.
It's a flame.
It's supposed to flicker.
Give me
something
animated. Animated.
No, that costs too much money. Can't do that. I can't do that.
No, you know what costs a lot of money?
What?
5 fingers. That's what costs a lot of money.
That does cost a lot of money.
It just ask the Simpsons.
That's where.
That's a Fox show.
That's where the budget goes, baby. Yeah, that's right. X-Men paved the way for that. No. It came from
the only thing we could be grateful, I think, is that Rob Liefeld didn't do the art, because then there wouldn't be any fingers
or feet.
Yeah, that's true. There wouldn't be
no feet,
and there'd be
whatsoever.
You're like,
you can get me in trouble. Rob is going to beat me up now because you said that.
Rob's got to watch this.
Rob, he does. He looks for anything that his name is mentioned in, and he's going to beat me up for this.
Okay,
so,
cool.
I
hope he roasts us. Then that's fine.
That's fine.
I have no problem having this conversation with him. Dude, you clearly can't do either one of those. It's not that hard to figure that out. I'm not going to say it's not that hard to draw a hand
right.
or a foot, but it's not hard to figure out that you can't do it.
I can't say that. I'll
fine.
see him.
That's fine.
See him, and he'll get mad at me, and he'll block me. That's just bad.
My favorite artwork by Rob Liefeld was the Hawk and Dove miniseries.
Okay. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Until you find out that the way he drew it,
so problematic.
And DC hated it so much that R.T. Bear had to redo the whole thing. And by the way, R.T. Bear was one of my favorite inkers.
I loved art.
Right up there with Terry Austin.
Okay, we'll save this for another episode, but
yeah,
Mount Rushmore of inkers. Think about that one. That'll be.
That's 2 right there.
Yeah.
I have a 3rd one.
Okay, all right. We'll save it.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you guys for tuning into the Chatterverse.
We went way too long.
We went super long in this one.
And we didn't even stick to the topic.
It's all right. This is what we do. We chat. We chat. I have been Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics.
And I've been on point.
Very much so. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.